Well, hello, fellow addicts. Welcome back to Addicts Live. New episode, new event to talk about. Yay! Woohoo! For those who don't know me, I'm Alyssa, your resident head addict. And joining us on the show this week is our resident crankster, Patrick.
Ebbing and flowing on the cranky part. I started very cranky this week, and I'm kind of like laying back, and now I'm moderately cranky. We'll see.
And you may have noticed that there's not as many, people below us here, because we're kicking it old school for this episode. Back to the very first episodes of Addicts Live, as it's just Patrick and I today. Wookster had a date with the House of Mouse, and Super Safi had some things to do in Canada. So some Canadian things to take care of.
He's probably standing at the border saying, "Please, no more. Stay down there."
So it's just Patrick and I here this week, but it should still be a fun show. I mean, like I said, this is the original way we started Addicts Live, just Patrick and I. So we're kicking it old school.
We'll see. We'll try and keep it kind of, dialed in. We have figured out that once Joe comes into the fray, that it can meander into all kinds of weird worlds. And we don't necessarily blame the Scientologists, but I think there's something to that.
Well, I will point out that Safi's the one who brought up the Muggle Quidditch. So that was the Safi.
True.
That one.
True. Yeah, it took me 3 days to heal the chafing from riding the mop over our last episode. So it's all right.
So here's your regular reminder. For those watching this live, not on the podcast, but for those watching this live right now, this is meant to be interactive. So share your questions and comments below us here and join in on the fun. So let's get started. As I mentioned at the top, we have a new major event in Springfield. We're going around the world with a mob flare, my favorite kind. As we're sending the residents of our pocket-sized Springfields on heists to capture all kinds of loot. Although I don't know how successful they'll be because, Homer is involved. So on that note, we would like you to take a minute to answer the poll question if you haven't already done so. And that is, what are your initial impressions of this event? So your answers, I don't have them in front of me, but I believe it's awesome. This is great. This is dumb. Somewhere in the middle of the road. And I'm reserving judgment until Acts 2 and 3 hit. So we'll share those results at the end of what you guys said. But Patrick, what's your initial impression?
Well, I kind of laid mine out with the calendar post. Talk about ignoring what we've been asking for. I don't know how you ignore it any more than what we've been asking for. It's the longest, although you said that the Clash of Clones was as long or longer by a couple days. Is that right?
Yeah.
Although that had a lot more going on. I think that's the trade-off, is that if you're going to do something long, you have to have more than just a 4-hour grind. And that event did have a lot going on. So yeah, 7 weeks, come on, really, seriously? And I'm trying to figure out the calendar hit. I was trying to figure out, that's why they're doing it, because it's going to run right into, no, it's not running right into anything. It's going to run right into the middle of June and maybe the 4th of July. I don't know. It's very odd. I'm not as bothered as I thought I was going to be about the craftable thing. It seems okay. I mean, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of choices. There's a lot of things being offered. And there's a ton of characters that we're going to get in this thing. The only thing that I will throw out there, I'm not cranky about it, I'm kind of resolved to it, is that once again, we're kind of off the reservation here in regards to canon and how much land is dedicated toward non-Springfieldian types of stuff. So, that's kind of my impression. It's like if you go to Springfield, and it's just across I-5, I've been there, there is no giant, Badlands area. There's no giant Italian or coming British area or any of that stuff. And they really are asking you to give quite a bit of land up for these things to be able to do the event. So, we'll see. We'll see. How about you?
So, I mean, so far I like it. I appreciate that they're bringing back like the neighbor element of dropping crooks in other people's towns. That's always a fun element. It gives you kind of a reason to go visit. So there's things I like, things I don't like, but I will remind everyone that at the beginning of Bart Royale, I like that too. So we'll see what happens. That's the way I probably, my vote would probably be the waiting to reserve judgment until acts 2 and 3.
Well, we do have the advantage of kind of looking forward a little bit in the files, etc. So I do know that I'm a bit of an Anglophile. So my Italian section may, in fact, be the inverse of your Italian section. It's going to get built to kind of get through the process. I may kind of go wacky when it comes to the Little London section of my town. There's a lot of options there. I think there's some cool stuff. You have to grind a lot to get the freemium stuff. I mean, I've been figuring some of these things out, and if you're looking at 1,000, units to get a couple of these big items, that's a lot. That is one pop per pop. I mean, you're getting, one click will get you one. So it's going to take you 1,000 clicks to get that. That's a lot of grinding. So anyway, yeah, we'll see.
So just as a quick aside from the very top of the show, Patrick, Ebron wants to know, riding the mop, is that a new drug? Mop?
Riding the mop. Wow, she just aged herself, right? Or hit her age there. So yeah, it is a drug reference, absolutely. When you get, that's why I was writing the what was that thing? It's like one of those squeegee mop things. Yeah, you don't know what's in that. You don't know what's in that liquid. You can huff the liquid, huff the squeegee.
Today I found out they were aside from the Tide Pods, they were eating the Tide Pods, but then they were sniffing. Oh, they're sniffing bug spray. They're now inhaling bug spray.
Bug spray.
Yeah, off bug spray. Kids are now inhaling off bug spray. So you think your generation is a little out there? You should see what the kids today are doing.
I'm sorry, I just got a call that I have to not take. I just had to turn off my phone. Sorry. How could they call this time of morning knowing I have Addicts Live? For gosh sakes.
It wouldn't be a show if somebody didn't call your phone, Pat.
That's true. It's absolutely true. Yeah, so yeah, here's speaking of what are they? They're Tide Pods. Yeah, I'd say that 10 times fast. We just got a new dishwasher that uses the little pods. Boy, those things clean. I mean, yeah. we are seeing pots looking like pots we haven't had for years and years, and I'm not really inclined to buy one.
The new dishwasher, the second.
I think it's both. I think it's a combo. But I'm not inclined to want to bite into one. But they are very pretty. I will say that they're very pretty. But they've got to be powerful to be cleaning like they're cleaning. So
well, you know, it's a big deal when they have Gronk putting out a PSA not to eat Tide Pods. So,
and that's a guy I'm going to trust. I mean, seriously, Gronk, come on, let's be honest about it. That guy has been Tide Podded to the head way too many times. He's a little scrambly. So anyway,
well, I said that when he got hit in one of the playoff games and he ended up getting a concussion. I said, well, how would they know if he has a concussion? He always walks around like that.
Well, yeah. Well, again, that shot he took in the Super Bowl, it's like I'm supposed to feel bad about that because the week before he threw himself down and put the elbow in the back of the guy's head. Hello, Gronk. You can't have it both ways. So, exactly. Okay, but we digress.
Yes. So back to the event itself. So one good thing about this event is there is a ton, TONE, capitalized, of content. I mean, for the last event, as few characters as we got, actually as none characters as we got, because there's mostly all skins. Well, we got one character last event. This event is loaded. I mean, there are, 18 new characters? 18 brand new characters. I don't see a single skin. All characters. Characters. It's phenomenal. Which
there are people I don't know who they are, but you're going to get a lot of people
that complain because this is a one-off character, But still, anytime you get new characters in the game, especially characters for free, that's awesome. You know, I mean, because the characters help you generate money. So, I think the content is phenomenal. I mean, we're basically getting all the stuff that Bart Royale lacked. So even though it's not canon, I mean, the stuff is from the show, which I guess most of Bart Royale was too. But the stuff has got a smaller footprint. It fits better in Springfield. It's more realistic in a town versus like a big giant junk base that was in Art Royale. Like all that crap is in my inventory. So
you were truly traumatized by Bart Royale. I've already forgotten about it. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that already.
The only thing from the Outlands event or the Bart Royale event that's still in my Springfield is anything that's tied to a character. So really just the Outlands line. So everything else is gone because you don't need it. It doesn't fit in my Springfield. It's got too big of a footprint. I just didn't like it. So, and the Outland side has a big footprint too, but it awards a bonus percentage and it is tied to Mountain Man, so I can't really store it. Otherwise, it would
I've built a pretty fun Outland segment that's, I think I've said, people just probably saw in my video. It's kind of right next to my Holy Land there, and heaven. But it's the thing I like about it is that the motorcycle guys are fun. Maggie, man, she's always hanging from the tree, whacking those guys. It's hilarious. And I really like the little deal where the fox's head pops up, because that was a reference to the TV show where they were watching Fox, quote unquote, and it was a real fox. It's hilarious. So anyway, that doesn't bother me. We'll see how much of this episode actually, or this event actually ends up being in my town. We'll see. It'll be interesting.
I can already see doing, because like from last time, and this is basically Around the World Part 2. We're getting all the stuff that people were asking for last time, because last Around the World was we did Brazil, we did Asia. What else did we do? France, and I think that was it. Those 3. So maybe one more place, but this is people at that time were asking, where's the stuff from England? Where's the stuff from Italy? And now we're getting all that stuff. I mean, we're not getting much Australian stuff. We're getting one thing from Australia, which, they could have done a little bit more, because that's still, I mean, that would be a perfect time to introduce the world's biggest toilet. Just saying.
What do you have against Australia? So
No, because that's the episode where we're supposed to toilet that just gave for 5 years. So, but so it's basically Around the World Part 2. So, I mean, you can really see like doing, like with the last Around the World event, I created a little Chinatown. I actually made basically an Epcot with the Epcot Center. And made like my own little Epcot world. So, I mean, you can make a little Italy, you can make a little England, like you could do all kinds of fun stuff with a lot of these items. So that's my thing with it. They fit in better in a town. Not 100% may not stay out. You may end up with like 65, 75% of these stuff still out. But I think it's, that's a good ratio of content that's not canon.
It's going to be fringe. I mean, what I've started doing is I have a dividing line that's created by my monorail that kind of, again, we get into the whole north, south, east, west, but the top of my screen has become an area where it's divided off by the monorail. So stuff on the other side can be whatever I want it to be. It's like Fantasyland or something. But I do have a segment down in the bottom right where my all my casino stuff kind of overlapped into a big Vegas vibe with lots of rides and all kinds of stuff. So you can stick almost any of this stuff in that area and make it work. I mean, I've got Big Ben still down there from that event. We've got a few things, so you can make it work. It is interesting, and I'm going to be very curious to see what people do. I should announce that one of the things I'm going to start doing on the Friday fillers is a little segment where I visit one of my neighbors' towns and highlight it. And I will say that I'm quite excited that just this morning I reached out, and Ebron and I are going to be buds, because I really like some of the stuff that she shares on our page. And so I want to see the rest of her town. I just logged in for the first time this morning, and I was pretty impressed with the way she uses flowers and shrubs and roads, and she's got a real design head. So it's pretty cool stuff. That's important to me. I think that's important. Why would we play the game if we're not going to take the time to design, Alyssa?
Hey, don't look at me. I just told you at the top of the show I finally went in my game yesterday and put all my stuff away. So all my stuff from Christmas is finally away. And
Well,
then
there you go.
the stuff from the Buck Stops Here, I will say most of the stuff in the Buck Stops Here is in my inventory unless it is tied to a character. So the only thing I think I kept out is the Capitol City Capitol, because it's tied to Rose Quimby. So that's out. And then all my Bart Royale stuff is in inventory anyway. So
here's my question. So are you one of those people that takes your Christmas tree down, but it lingers in the backyard until Easter?
No, at home we take it very seriously. All of our Christmas decorations are down. We don't leave those up.
Okay.
Because then it makes it more exciting when you bring them out again. That's the way we look at it.
So do you have a real tree every year?
No, we don't use a real tree.
Okay, all right.
We have two. You remember the tree that was behind me? We have two
fake
trees.
That's right. I couldn't tell. It was a very good fake.
Yeah, it
was a very good fake tree. I couldn't tell.
There's probably more than two, but yeah. So yeah, all my Christmas stuff is finally put. But it's put away. In Springfield, Christmas stays out all year long. So I've got my Christmas area. But I will say it does not look as good as it does when it's covered in snow. Snow makes it look 1,000 times better. So now it just looks like stuff's just randomly in places.
Everything looks better in snow when the snow first falls until it turns brown and mushy and gray, and then it's not so pretty.
Just don't eat the yellow snow.
Yeah, I have a true. We've had a lingering thing happen this year where I think I shared that we put up the pergola from Katie's wedding in our front yard, and we festooned that with twinkly lights and some of the bushes around there. And we kept it up through the wedding, through February, because we thought it would be kind of fun. It was easy for people to find our house. We could just say it's the one that's got the lit up pergola. It's still on, folks. It's still there. We're not sure when we're going to take it down. We know we're going to, but I don't know. It's kind of fun.
Sometimes you get superstitious too. Like, all this good stuff happened since I did this. If I take it down, is that going to be a bad thing? No,
I already have the ultimate threat. It's called the parental prenup. If the kids don't stay married for at least 10 years, they owe me all the money back. So there you go. It's a good prenup. I'm not worried about these guys. They're doing good. Yeah. I don't know. The lights are fun. I just like twinkly lights. I admit it. That's partly why I like Disneyland. So twinkly lights. Who knew?
Hey, who doesn't like lights?
There you go.
I guess a vampire.
True.
So yeah, going back to the event. Like I said, we get 18 brand new characters. That's a variety of premium, freemium. One of them is super premium, where you actually have to physically spend cash, which we'll talk about in a minute. But just a variety of characters being offered. I know, most of them are one-off, but like, how awesome is it that we're getting Millhouse's grandma? Like, Nana Mussolini, come on. Like, that's
She's
awesome.
Badass. Nana Mussolini's badass.
I mean, you should see some of the tests, because like we said, we get I have all the images from the event. So I've got all of her animation images, and some of the tests, man, they're hilarious. Like, as far as like old school, I mean, my grandparents were like that. So I totally can relate, go outside and get a Switch.
Do the evil eye.
Oh yeah. So, some of the characters are just really good. Now, there is the premium aspect where 2 characters are 300 donuts. The Dante boys, but 300 characters.
Can I just say, what's the matter you? Come on. Yeah, what's the matter you? 300, that's insane.
I mean, I did buy them, but that's because I have a thing with I love mob stuff.
And you should all be nervous about that fact, folks.
My father has a wood chipper. That's what he tells my husband all the time.
On that note, I back slowly from the screen.
Now you know why Pat and I truly buried the hatchet.
That's right. They just showed. Wow. She just showed me a picture of the wood chipper. That was it. That's how we did it. We have a wood chipper. Oh, I saw that show. Yeah. Anyway. Wow. Who thought we'd go there? I mean, I thought veal was the worst thing we could talk about with you, but no. We're way down a whole different track now.
Incidentally, speaking of veal, one of my really good friends is out in Kansas right now, And he said, you know, you're not in New Jersey anymore when you open your window and you see a bunch of cows. And I said, well, when God gives you cows, you make steak.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. Well,
so I got a few morbid responses to that, but you know, I never turned down an opportunity to eat cow.
Well, we're battling the fact that it's soon to be turkey season in Oregon.
Well, you got your BB gun. You're good.
No, you can't shoot. You can't shoot them in the city. So they're just walking around taunting me.
Well, can you use a slingshot?
Aha. You and I think the same. Yes.
And you go like old school Bart style on them.
I am. I'm going to get a slingshot. The BB gun works, but it stands out pretty badly when you're standing on your front porch. So it's one of those things that I'm already the cranky old guy. You don't want to be the cranky old guy holding a gun on the front porch. That could really not work out well.
What if you do they still make cap guns? Like, do they still sell those? Like, what if you just use a cap gun to scare them? You know, just fire those off.
No, they're stupid. No, I have a patented sound clap thing that works. They're getting it, but man, they're stupid. And this time of year, their little teeny brains are in mating season. So the first thing they try and do is flop off their feathers and just like they're tough, and then they don't, and then they take off. So it's really stupid. But I like the concept of a wrist rocket. I used to have a wrist rocket, and you put maybe like just a cherry pit or something in there, organic, right? Put a cherry pit in there. Yeah.
Something organic.
So if they find it, you know, if they find
they're found in
no. That's true. It's organic. Well, I have lots of cherry pits. We have lots of cherry trees. The point is, if they find it embedded, they would never really be able to trace it back, right?
That's true.
There we go. So, wow, are we off the topic here?
So we've talked so far about wood chippers, and about how to get turkeys.
Yeah, weddings. And yeah, okay, well, right then.
It's a good show. So yeah, back to the characters. What are your thoughts as far as the variety of characters offered, aside from Sven, because we'll talk about him in a minute. Like I said, the super premium guy, but the characters as far as prize track characters are concerned, as far as what's in the store right now, premium wise.
Yeah, I'm not. It's interesting. I mean, even though I'm donut farming at this point, I've got enough donuts to buy, you know, pretty much what I want to buy. I'm not buying them all. It has more to do with the stupid item limits thing for me. So yeah, there's a ton of characters. I don't know who all of them are, and we'll figure that out as we go forward. I don't have a sense that they're from 2 or 3 episodes. I like the fact that there's a lot of variety. There's tons of variety. There's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. The pricing, you know, I'm not surprised. The 300 for 2 characters is stupid. That's pushing the boundary of stupidity. That's almost into Whaleville. You know, that's the last time they were really dumb. I'm not shocked by the other pricing. I think it's all pretty much in line with what we've seen.
So, I mean, let's talk about Sven for a minute Sven, I guess is probably the best way to say that. He's in this actual physical store where you physically spend real life money. You can't use donuts, so you have to actually physically use plastic, cash, you know. So for $10, $9.99 US, I don't know what it is in other countries. I know you guys with the VAT tax and everything, it's all over the place. But for $10, you get 232 donuts. So instead of 132 you regularly get, you get an extra 100 donuts. So you get 232 donuts, and then you get a premium character. He's not a super premium character in the sense like Money Vest Burn or the Many Mountain Burns guy who earns like, 2.5, 3 times the normal rate. But he is, you know, a fun character to have. He does help with the event. I will do a breakdown on him in a post this week, hopefully. But you know, EA is really shifting. There's 2 things that's going on. One, and I will, you know, pat myself on the back here because those are things that I've been warning about.
I'm reaching out to pat you as well. There we go.
Thank you. Things I've been warning everybody about since last summer, last fall, like,
yep.
Because of all the donut farming, the prices of things are going up. And I think this 300 donuts for 2 characters is EA's way of testing to see if people will spend the money on that. You know, it started off with 150 donuts for a character building combo. That was a high price because prior to that, it was like 120, 130. They started going up on that. Now, sometimes you see one-off characters, 175 donuts. So 300 donuts for 2 characters, that's directly in relation to donut farming. And then these characters going into the store for actual cash, that's another product of donut farming because people aren't spending the same money. So they're trying to say, okay, you guys have all these donuts, but you don't have this character. You know, you want this one. It's like a drug addict. So, you know, they're really trying to ramp it up, trying to get people to spend the money in the game. People like me, who have always been premium, won't donut farm because I just don't have any desire to donut farm. So much easier for me just to spend the money in the game. We'll buy everything because that's what I do when I'm a sucker. It's written on my forehead. But there are people who, I see it on both sides. I see people who are regularly premium players who are ticked off that premium characters are 300 donuts for 2 of them. And then I see people who are donut farmers who are ticked off that a character that they really wanted is in the store and you can only spend cash on. So here's my vibe on it. There's something even more specific about the pricing on this. And I just pulled this up to double check. So what they've done by moving it from 130 or 120 to 150 initially was to push you outside the box of being able to afford it for $9.99. So you could get 132 donuts for $9.99. Well, now they're giving you bonus donuts, 142 or 232 for $9.99 is the deal. Plus you get the character plus whatever. But the 150 track was a clear price point that said we're moving it to 150 so that they can't get it for a tray of donuts. They have to spend $19.99. That didn't work as much as people thought, or as much as they probably thought it would. So now they're saying you have to buy a truckload of donuts, 300 donuts at $20, $19.99, to be able to get this character if you're going to spend money on it. So what they're really doing is going after the people that truly are the gotta have it all, and I don't mind spending my real hard-earned money or gift cards or whatever to support the game. But that's who they're after. It's probably half of a percent of everybody who plays this game that is willing to spend that kind of actual hard cash. And I'm going to say it one more time, and EA is going to hate me for this, but tough. This is digital. It is pretend. The references I made in this last post about Schrodinger's cat, no matter how you spell Schrodinger, I had to go and correct that, is absolutely true. It doesn't exist, people, until you go and look at it. It doesn't exist anywhere. And if someone flips the switch on the server and says we're done, it's gone. So that has no value whatsoever. It's nothing you can see, touch, feel. It is even worse than Bitcoins. You can't trade it. You can't do anything with it. It's pretend in every way, shape, and form except what EA wants you to believe. But
yes, to the contrary.
When you go to the movies and watch a movie,
yeah,
it's the same thing.
No, I get at least 2 pounds of butt fat from the popcorn from going to the movie. So that's a whole trade-off.
I see. I was referring to if you go to the movies and you sit down in a seat and you watch a movie. It's not something tangible you're acquiring.
Absolutely. There's an entertainment value that comes with this game that can be quantified on some level. Absolutely, positively. However, most of the entertainment I get is out of designing and building and having fun and interaction, whatever. For people to think that I bought this, I own this, I get this, that's where my point is. No, you don't. You're maybe at best renting it, at best, while at the graces of EA, as long as they keep the server on. So anyway, yeah, the price point thing is a big deal. They're looking to jack up and take advantage of the people that can't help themselves. And $20 for 2 characters, no thank you. Sorry. If I have the donuts, sure, I'll do that. But I am not going to spend money on the tray. I did do that, however, and this is a quantifying point, I did do that for the last time they did that because it was a character I really wanted. I don't even know who this guy is, to be honest with you. I'm not familiar with the character. I don't think he's not so important to the storyline. What was the last one that was a pay one? Was it the
Mole Man, Mech Man?
Was that the one? Yeah, I don't want that because it was hilarious. So.
And before that, it was Peasant Bee voice. I think there was one at Christmas, but I don't remember. Was there one at Christmas?
I'm trying to think if there was a. Wasn't there one tied to? Yeah, I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I have not bought all of them. I've bought a couple of them, but this one I'm passing. Sorry.
So we have a ton of comments coming in, and we've had them coming in the whole episode. And I want to get to some of these because they're about the event itself.
Okay.
So
and while you're doing that, I'm going to clear my town. Just so I'm not going to start the timer, but I'm going to clear. Go ahead.
Yes. So let's see. Desapa01 says, things to give EA credit for. Better craftables. Act prizes are a little bit more enticing with characters and buildings instead of skins. Loads of characters in this event. Slightly different event structure with videos and event currency bonus multipliers. Things that take credit away from EA. Largely the same event structure as past events. Really expensive premium items. Same 4-hour grind. 7-week-long event. Limited land. And only 9 tiles for a lot of content. I really hope the donut farming situation that EA created isn't the demise of their own game, where they aren't getting enough real-world cash spending to make it worth it to write new code for different event structures, which leads to more people getting bored and not playing. There's still content to be explored, but if it's not fun to get, then what's the point? Just one thing to note: yes, there's different things going on with this event. But I will tell you, every single aspect of this event we've seen somewhere else before. So it's just a regurgitation with a different makeup of it. Like the video scenes, we've seen that before. Wild West event had the video scenes. Yep. The Crooks, we've seen that several times. We've back to Halloween 2013, you had to drop gremlins in people's towns. We've seen it a couple other times. So it's the same, but different. It's like the same structure.
Now this is code in a box. This is literally, we have code. All we have to do is change the numbers and the characters, and the code will behave like it's supposed to behave. So,
and honestly, at this point, I don't think it's going to change. I think this is what they're going to do. They're going to continue to bring elements in. They're going to continue to modify them for each event, and it's just going to be the same thing. And a lot of events are like that. You know, you go to a Family Guy game, every event's the same type of thing. It's the exact same formula. You know, you've got land, you got each week has a different aspect to it. And the same thing with Futurama. Like they're all the same. You know, they all have a structure that works for them, and that's what they're just going to continue doing. So it's not going to change. Let's see. Ebron says that she likes the Grand Canal homes with the seawalls. We'll be spending all my crafting bucks on them for now.
Yeah, she has a really pretty town.
Nats says, do you think this is an addict cleaning from EA, meaning they are clearing out items they didn't use because they were lame, like the Da Vinci invention, the cheese truck, etc.? They don't seem to fit. If you watch the scene at the end, they fit. They all kind of have a theme with it. I'm not going to spoil that now because people, want to see how the scene plays out. But if you watch the scene, they all have a theme with them. See, Shezladette says, why can't I put the gondola in the bonus percentage area? I can only place it in a water area. Help.
How many times have we answered this question? And there's a video up.
I've been texting about this for the last 2 days.
Okay, so by the way, go to my post that I posted yesterday. At the very bottom of the page is a video that explains that. It's a bonus video. It is very specific. Just do it. Make them
put it in the rundown post. You put it in the turbo tapping post. I mean, it's. We don't know how else we can make people understand. Like, I guess unless we specifically do a post that says how to put gondola in bonus area, and that's.
I did. I mean, basically, that's what the video is.
If we just do a post, maybe that specifically has that as the title, because people sometimes don't see things or don't search for things or don't expect to see something somewhere else. The way you do that for those who are watching this, you put river tiles in your bonus area, and then you place the gondola on top of it. 2 river tiles should cover that. That's all you need. And it is nice. I think the big thing, too, is people don't expect that the gondola can be placed in river because nothing can go in the river. This is the first item that I can remember that goes in the river, which is nice. I like that. It actually will make for some neat designs later down the road. See, Amy says, I like the event so far. I like the prizes and the craftables. I like the fact that there are no levels for crafting. My biggest complaint is that I tend to have trouble finding tappables in my own town. with that issue in mind, as soon as you unlock Primo and get all the scene pieces, because that's the last scene piece. Well, you have to get the cheese truck and the Da Vinci machine as well. But as soon as you do that and you unlock the scene, the bonus donut round comes up, and then you can just hit the do it, and that'll bring you right to the tappables. So there is a shortcut coming, but all the tappables do migrate towards the Fine Arts Museum of Super Fine Arts, whatever it's called. So if you just wait in your game, you do some other things, they'll all get there, and then you just clear them. It's only 30 at a time is the most you can get. Yeah,
that was my point. That was part of my post yesterday was, as you're doing other things, start with that first. Start by going to the museum first, clear whatever you have going there, then go do whatever you're going to do in your town. Keep coming back to your museum because they migrate there. They'll show up. They will show up. And
the crooks, though, are very difficult to find. You have to search your town. So, I mean, honestly, I won't even tap crooks. Like, I just don't even search for them. I just drop them in other people's towns. They hit them, they're great. They don't. It doesn't impact me if they don't hit them, and vice versa. So
without getting too cranky, I tried to leave this out, but you just brought it up. One of the things I don't like is how hard it is to even get the masks to be able to go drop them in the town. I mean, it's really random, and I was trying to do a trigger on to see how many it took me to get whatever. It took me 4 full cycles to get 4 masks. That's a lot of cycles for 4 stinking masks. So to that point, when today I got the daily challenge of place masks in the neighbor's town, I skipped it and I went right. I blew it up and went to the next daily task. So there you go.
Because they all pay out the same, so there's no difference.
Yep.
Silly Boy says, my town is finally running out of room. I love all the new content, but some of the new buildings are very large. No More Shiny says, just joined, just in time to hear Alyssa's jab at EA for not taking advantage of this opportunity to add the world's largest toilet. You want that so bad. I do. I really do. Really. I've been waiting 5 years for this stupid toilet. 5 years. I think it was like 5 years ago, April or May, that it was teased, like somebody on one of the websites that used to exist back in the day. Actually, I think it was Tips. I'm sorry, MIP. That put, this is in the files. And ever since then, I've wanted the damn toilet. So.
Well, the thing was they were releasing those bigger than life kinds of things at a pretty steady clip. And that they were in the files. They've been in the files forever. So, the magnifying glass, et cetera, those were in the first 12 months, maybe 14 months. They were popping out fairly regularly. So why they didn't do the toilet, I don't know. I mean, it makes me wonder if there was like Kohler sued them or something. So you can't use our toilet. So I don't know.
Silly Boy also adds, the Dante characters for 300 Donuts were designed with donut farmers in mind. The Sven character was designed for true premium players. I don't spend cash for characters. Well, I do.
Yeah.
Ebron wants to know, Patrick, what about a net cannon for the turkeys?
And then I'd have to do something with them. Yeah, I could catch them. That's stupid. That's the thing, Ebron. They are that dumb. If I basically walked up to one, I could grab one. I don't want to grab them. I want to make the point that they don't belong in my yard. So that's where I
go. Zarkissa, I guess is how you say that. Sven is $13.99 plus tax in Canada. So it's good to know.
Oh, there you go.
No More Shiny also adds, very seldom do I donut farm. I have like 200 million in-game currency and growing. Got to spend that game. Got to support the game monetarily, like real money. Just makes sense to support the game with what they need, real money.
That's my philosophy.
Listen, No More Shiny, you and I are single-handedly keeping this game afloat. You don't want to know how much money I spend in this game.
You will have no problem spending $20 for 2 characters. So the thing that I would say, and this came up actually in a comment today from another reader, if you have that much in game currency, you don't need to donut farm because you could do rat trap truck farming in a heartbeat. Turn on your XP collider, do the rat trap trucks, and you're going to come away with a ton of donuts, and you're going to zip through your levels too. So I don't know.
Silly Boy says Blinky goes in the river. Yes, but you don't place Blinky in the river. Blinky comes in the river. And More Shining also tells you not to yell at Chesladette Patrick. He wasn't yelling at her. He was yelling at the frustration because we keep answering that same question about gondolas. And let's see. Ebron says, can we buy multiple gondolas? Yes, you should be able to. And Charles says, in some games, the tappables do not migrate. My test game is very compact, and the tappables get stuck everywhere. Okay. So if you have questions, because there's a couple questions in here, I'm going to wait till the end to answer them. But if you have questions, ask them now because we'll get to them in a minute. I just want to talk about two quick things. One, something Patrick talked about at the top. Is this the longest event ever? The answer is no. Believe it or not. Quote unquote, back in the day of TSTO, events used to be 4 weeks. I actually thought, I went back, I did a ton of research on this, thinking about this after Patrick's calendar came out. I was like, is this really the longest event? And I was like, no, there had to be. Whacking Day was forever. I felt like Whacking Day just went on and on and on. Surprisingly, Whacking Day was 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Because Whacking Day originally, back in the day, events were only 4 weeks long. In some cases, 3 weeks long. And Whacking Day got extended, I think, twice, and ended up only being 6 weeks long. But
because they had server issues, though.
That's why they extended it. So I went back. I was like, Chris, one of the Christmas events had to have been really long. No, guys, almost every event has been 4 weeks long. It's not until recently, and when I say recently, I mean probably in the last 2 years that they started making six-week events. But as far as this event, which is 49 days, I believe, Clash of Clones from summer of 2014 was exactly the same amount of time. But to Patrick's point, there was a lot more going on in Clash of Clones. You had a old school style prize track where it was like 15 items that you had to go through to unlock. But so it wasn't split up into acts, but you had to destroy other people's towns in order to get currency. And then you had to build castles and defensive areas and build those up and level those up and then get characters and level those up.
Yeah.
Clash of Clones was a very complex event. I will say.
It was even, I mean, it was so out there that people that weren't your friends could attack your town. Mm-hmm. It was wild. I mean, it was really pretty cool. I was pretty impressed with the programming that went into that, and it's never really been like that again. You know, I mean, I'm trying to think, like the Vegas one, or Burns Hope, whatever the actual event was called. I call it Vegas. Had lots of games you could play, and there was different challenges. That was very cool. Which is the one I want to say? Stonecutters that had the riddles. Is that right?
Stonecutters had the riddles.
Yeah, there was riddles and all kinds of. You really had to work. Yeah, I think there was lots of things they could do, but that goes back to my comment about EA just being lazy as heck. They're repeating so many different elements, making a little change here, a little change there, whatever, blah 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 blah. Even the neighbor event, or the neighbor interaction right now is almost not worth doing. It's limited to 30, moves. It pays out 1 click per. It's almost not doing. I mean, you have to search through towns. If you've got neighbors that don't play very much, those are the ones to go hit because it's real easy to find the guys. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's talking of time spent on the game. I did do full 30 this morning, and it took about 19 minutes to do all 30. So that's the longest investment of time of anything here with the worst payout.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny though because we're sitting here, we're thinking, okay, well, it's almost. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, oh, it's almost April. I'm like, oh, this ends in May. It's not that bad. And then I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, it's March 24th today. So when this game hit, it was what, March 21st? So Clash of Clones ran from August 19th to October 7th, which to me feels like that's forever because that goes from summer to fall. Like that just feels like that's such a long time. But if you think about it, it's almost the exact same time cycle as this. You're 2 days off and 2 days off. Like it's not really much of a stretch. So this is a long. Yeah,
this goes almost to May 1st. I mean, doesn't it?
It goes past May 1st. It goes to May 6th. I want to say.
Oh yeah, it's an extra week. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And it's weird too because it doesn't wrap up neatly on Tuesdays. Like Act 1 ends on a Friday, so
Well, that was the thing during the calendar that I could not, for the life of me, figure out. Is that I understand they probably did what they did because they'd had issues with iOS being late, blah 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 blah. So you could get in and upload the event before it started, which was kind of interesting. But the timing on this is that it ends and starts at weird hours, and so it's almost like half days. It's not,
It is nice for me because everything shifts over at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
I believe it's 2 o'clock GMT. So I believe that's 10 a.m. our time, which is phenomenal because I don't have to wake up at 4 a.m. So, I'm happy as far as that's concerned.
Mine's 7 a.m., which is better than midnight because I always miss 6 hours. So yeah, it's always, it is what it is, but it is odd. It's an odd timing set.
It's not bad. I'm not ready to pass judgment on it yet. It's just different. We're so used to one aspect, so this is different for us. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Maybe this is the new norm. And if it is the new norm, I would not mind, personally, from a blogger aspect, I would not mind the update hitting the day before, because Family Guy does this. Generally, they release the update and then it'll hit like the next day or a few hours later. Right. I would not mind at all the content hitting the game, update hitting, and actually not triggering until the next day, because that allows me, you guys have no idea how much time it takes to pull, not just the files, but to pull the images. This event had 3,200 and something images to it. I had to pull all those images, convert them. And not that it's rocket science to do it. It was pretty easy, but it takes time. So that alone, that process to convert the 3,000 images takes, X amount of time. And then I have to go through each one and pick out, because I'm not going to put 3,000 images onto our website because they're not all necessary. So I got to go through and pick them out. And it just takes time. So I like having that extra day to do that. That was nice.
Which goes to another point that's off topic but on topic. People, stop asking when we're going to do a post or how come we haven't done a post. Please stop, or I will have Joe Biden take you out behind the high school and beat you up. Now, the point is this: if you have no idea how much time is involved with this, and Alyssa is doing 90% of the work, so get off her back, folk. Don't ask.
And the form, just to that effect, the formula is always the same for every event. I get out the content that is relevant. I always look at the comments. So whatever you guys are asking, that's what I do. Like yesterday, you saw the post come up about who can do what jobs, because I saw that question appearing in the comments a lot. So I said, let me just knock a post out on this. I'll get that covered so people stop asking. So I always try to work in that formula, but content always comes out in order which it leaves the game as far as should I buy posts are concerned. So my number one priority with should I buy posts are, do they help with the event? And when do they leave the game? And that's the priority that they go up. So you're going to get everything. If you need a should I buy post, it may come, 2 days before the item leaves the store, may come, some of this stuff like the mystery box doesn't leave the store till the end of the event. I'm in no rush to cover that. And it's all returning content. So in that regard.
So let's put it in perspective once again, though, as far as time involved. So the post I did yesterday on the Friday filler took me, even because the video took a little longer.
A long time.
Took about 3.5 hours of actual hardcore, real deal work. You got some stuff going on there.
Yeah, phones ringing, police trucks are going off. Who the heck knows?
Cool. At any rate, so 3.5 hours for a post. Now, even the fast ones, quote unquote fast, take an hour, at least an hour to do, even if you have everything pre-rolled and ready to go. So we're doing, 15 posts a week, 20 posts a week, depending on the week. That's a lot of hours, folks. It's a lot of time. So please stop asking and jumping the gun and just take it as we get it. Okay? Have I cranked out too much? Tough.
I will always post the should I buy post for an item. At least new content you will always get a should I buy post for. I promise. Always.
Yes.
Unless something catastrophic has happened to me and I'm not able to do it. But returning content, if for some reason I don't get to it, guys, there's a post about everything. So just use the search toolbar if you need info on it. It's that simple.
And there's tons of returning. I mean, in the new events, there's more returning.
This one, there's not a lot of returning content. It's surprising because I was laying out my post list and I was like, oh, I only have like 4 returning content posts to do. That's crazy. So
yeah, you could batch it. You could batch it. There's a lot of returning characters, a lot of returning stuff from in the next couple of acts, I should say. So,
but
anyway,
in relation to on the note of returning content, I will also say for those of you interested, Easter content is coming because Easter is a week from tomorrow. So Easter, well, I guess, I don't know, I think Greek Orthodox Easter is later, but Easter is a week from tomorrow. So this week, well, not this week, the coming week, you will see Easter content hit the store. However, none of it's new. It's all returning stuff. However, because Easter is about somebody rising from the dead, I will tell you that somebody is going to return to the store. So if you missed your opportunity to get Jesus during Christmas, you can get Jesus during Easter. So keep that in mind. But otherwise, Easter is all returning content.
I crossed myself when you said Jesus twice. It's just out of habit. So see, my old Episcopalian choir days, you know.
Well, if you go, I mean, we're, like I said, you guys should know by now, we're Catholic. We go to church every Sunday. During Lent, which is what it is now, our church hides. They cover the cross. They cover Jesus on the altar. They also cover a couple other crosses. And every time we go to church, Riley always says hi and bye to Jesus. Always. Now she'll tell you Jesus is hiding, and it's really funny. She goes, I couldn't say bye to Jesus. He was hiding.
It's funny. So the Episcopalians only cover the cross from Good Friday on. Yeah, maybe Monday, Thursday. Yeah.
I don't know why it's covered the whole during Lent. It never made sense to me. It doesn't make sense to anybody I know. It's just weird. So, they should only cover it on Good Friday.
He's in the woods. He's in the woods talking to the devil. So
yes.
As the story goes.
Anyway, all right. Let's jump to some Q&A. Let's see. Patrick, here's another question for you. Don't scream.
Okay.
John wants to know, I crafted the gondola, but can't seem to place it near my building to get the bonus points. It looks like it wants to be placed in the water, but I can't get that building close enough to the water to do that. What do I need to do?
Okay, so just to be an equal opportunity, I can't remember who the last one was. And they thought I was yelling at her. I'm just yelling, ah! Come on, go to my post. Go to my post yesterday. Go to the bottom of the post. Look at the video. Enough said. We're not saying anymore. And we're done.
So Patrick already answered this one in the comments, but I'll bring it up here since he asked it on this question in this post. Keith Laroon wants to know, Keith One-Roon, why the long event when most players prefer a short event?
Yeah.
Pat says it's because EA is lazy. So.
That's absolutely true.
I think it has to do too with they're trying to give people enough time to get everything, because a lot of times we've had a lot of complaints that people start the event late. This one moves slow as far as earning currency. I'm usually several days, and I buy all the premium characters. I'm usually several days ahead of the calendar. I'm on pace with the calendar. So I can only imagine if you don't have the premium characters, you're probably behind the calendar. So I think that's why it's 16 days. So
I will point out something that I need to point out one more time. The calendar is based on a 24-hour clock. So today, as an example, you're supposed to be at 10,300 or something like that, I think. That's the end of the day. That's where you are at the end of your calendar day. So the very first day, you had 24 hours. The second day, 24 hours. So the way it works out, because it actually cuts off a little early, you've got like 9 hours of flex time at the end of the event or the end of the act. You should be fine. As long as you're staying somewhere in that range, you should be absolutely fine. But you're right. I'm not blowing ahead at this point. But then again, last time it started slow until all the multipliers kick in. And then it gets better and bigger and better and better and better. So it will get easier as you move forward.
Eric1755 Eric says, Patrick, I don't understand. Everybody's asking you questions today. I don't understand your beef with item limits. You can store an unlimited number of items. What is it about your Springfield that's using so many items?
Oh, good Lord. Okay. So I explained that in the last post. Go back to last week's Friday filler, and I show you exactly why I have item limit issues. It has to do with liking oxygen in my town. I have lots of trees and shrubs. I have lots of water decorations and stuff. Anybody that's been playing the game for 5 years or more and actually takes the time to make their town look realistic, uses tons of little items. So it adds up.
I take offense to that.
You can all you want, but I've looked at your town. It's not the same as mine. So I have whole forested areas that are densely forested. That's where it all comes in. Yeah, that's where it all comes in.
You also have more in your town. more items in your town than I like. Mount Fuji, I put away.
That's Mount St. Helens to me. Yeah. That's an homage. So yeah, you've got a lot more stuff stored. So the point is, and I guess this is where I'm going to go with this. EA wants us to have all this stuff. In fact, they force it on us in all these updates. You have to have X to get onto X, right? You can store the stuff you don't want to have. I get that. However, there are legacy aspects of my town that have been, designed forever that I'm not going to change. And now I'm into this weird deforestation thing where to build and not get my item limit warning, which now happens after 20 houses, or not even that, like 12 houses. I will have to actually go in and cherry pick, little pieces of plants and things out of my town that I might not notice. But it's irritating. I don't get it. It's not a rocket science kind of thing, EA. Fix the code. Simple as that. They increase it 100 every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks or something like that. But then they make us take, 50 items.
And the reason I take offense to that is because I've been playing almost as long as Patrick has, and I've never hit an item limit, ever. I've never gotten a warning. Yeah, and I have flowers, I have trees, but I don't have a populated forest area.
Yeah. Compare our towns. And I
live in New Jersey, so there really is no densely populated forest area.
Actually, it's funny is that Jersey has got a lot of dense forests, but just not where you are.
Yes.
I've seen it. I've been there. I've done that.
So Italian Beauty says, do you think free land tiles will be the only way to get new land spaces, or if they'll go back to spending in-game cash for them? Event items are all squished together, and it would be nice to expand them. I think this is it. I think they're not changing it at this point.
They just flipped it, though. No, they just flipped the code. So you can use your free tile on any tile now. And I was happy to say that, and I should have pointed that out, because I just used one of my free tiles to buy one of my most expensive unfree, untagged tiles. So that happened.
Yeah, but new land they release, I think, will always cost free land tiles. I don't think they're going to go back to cash for them. Not at this point. I think they would have. They were going to go back. They would have gone back after the last event.
Yeah, it's hard for me to tell because I have so much free land available. I have loads and loads of free land.
Silly Boy says, I don't mind EA revisiting event styles, but I wish they would revisit things like people loved in the past, like stonecutters, instead of styles that people are bored of. No More Shiny says, Alyssa and I usually have, should I buy ESP? Eric says, guys, I appreciate all the efforts you guys put into the site. Many thanks. And Why You Need to Know says, I know this would be a spoiler, but please tell me the Easter fences are coming back. Too new of a player to originally buy enough. Need for design. Honestly, I don't know. I didn't pay much attention to what was coming back for Easter.
Chances are good on that because they usually
coming back. Yeah, that's the extent of what I paid for. A couple more, and then we'll jump to the poll. Silly Boy says again, I think EA has to take into account all of the events that are going to be released during the year, and have to make sure that Halloween falls at Halloween and Christmas falls at Christmas. It's a spacing issue as far as the timeline is concerned. And I don't store primaries. I don't like to store primary stuff. I store duplicates like fences. Charles says, I hit the item limit early, decided to get rid of all flowers and shrubs. And
okay, I'm gonna stop for a second and go back to something Silly Boy said, and I want to refute that, and I want to go back to why I refute it. Okay,
which one?
So the bit about the length of time. So we're talking about why we're upset about the length of time. We probably wouldn't be. We would probably be resolved to this had they not done Christmas. Christmas was 4 weeks, perfectly timed, followed by a 2-week little mini event. Perfectly timed. That equals 6 weeks. So if your timing between events is 6 weeks, that's easy. Do a 4-week and a 2-week. And you can even do a 1 week.
But their timing's 8 weeks because it's 6 weeks, 2 weeks, then event. But now this is 7 weeks. So now it's 7 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to pan out. We'll have to see. Maybe they're just trying to put off.
They always have the option. They always have the option to do a 1-week episode tie-in or a 2-week mini event forever. They can always do that. So why not do a 4-week main event with whatever combo that needs to get us to 7 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever? Okay, sorry.
Silly Boy also says, and yelling at you, Patrick, never use a free land token for a piece of land you can buy for in-game cash. It is a waste.
No, it's not.
If you saw how much cash Patrick has in this game, it's not a waste.
No, and the other thing is that I have specific reasons I want to buy a chunk of land at any given time. I only use it for the ones that are 2 million plus. I only use the freebies on ones that are 2 to 2.5 million. I don't do it for one that's 100,000 or 200,000.
And then finally, Ebron says, I'm with Patrick. Having to weed out greenery in your town to be able to design a new section just sucks the joy out of designing.
I am really like Ebron, just so you know. We are kindred souls. We are kindred spirits.
All right. And the long-awaited poll results, your initial impression of the Springfield Job event, somewhere in the middle, I don't hate it, but I don't love it either, is at number 1 with 43.4%, followed by the jury is still out. I'll reserve judgment until acts 2 and 3, 27.43%. And then following up with that, awesome, I love it, 24%. And then awful, I hate it, 4.86%. So most people are still reserving judgment. It's too early to tell. Not a lot of people hate it, which is nice. So everybody's kind of in that, it's middle of the road or I'm reserving judgment area. So that's a good place to be.
I agree with that. It really is too early to say. Yeah.
So I want to say one thing before we talk about, the next episode should be April 7th. We're going to kind of make sure everybody's schedule is good with that, but it should be April 7th. The post will be up next week if that's the case, next Saturday. I want to say one quick thing about the ads on the site, the pop-ups that are appearing. I know that they're annoying to a lot of you. They're annoying to me, especially because I don't like the fact that I can't do anything about them. They are stemming. They're not from the site. The site is not infected. They are stemming from some kind of coding in one ad, maybe 2 ads. We don't know. And it's a widespread industry issue. There's actually an article in Wired magazine that talks about this. And there's numerous things on Apple forums, Android forums. It is a widespread issue with this current pop-up situation. I apologize greatly for it. It is unfortunately not something I can really do anything about. So we're trying to get it resolved. But like I said, it's not just our site that's having the issues. So it's an industry-wide issue. So hopefully
it's not on our server. That's the thing you need to understand. It's not on our server. It's coming from an ad server. And the only option is to turn off the ads, which we cannot do. So there you go.
You can't turn off the ads because if I turn off the ads, the site won't make any money. And then I can't continue to do walkthroughs and should I buys because I can't get all the information. That's how I pay for it. So with that in mind, I do apologize for it. I know it's very obnoxious. It's annoying. It really, because it happens to me, not on this site, on other sites I go to. It happens to me. It drives me crazy. But you can always just close out of your browser. I know it's not as easy on Apple. Android, it's really easy. Just hit the back button. But you can always close out of your browser, shut it down, and then it should be fine. But I do apologize for it. Hopefully it's resolved soon. So just ask for your patience while it's being resolved. I mean, that's kind of where we are. We're kind of in this limbo of everybody needs to be patient so it can get resolved. Just don't click on anything. If it pops up, don't click on anything because then you might end up getting infected. Just back out of it, close it down, and that's it.
Let's just cut to the chase. The internet world right now is in a giant mess. There's no two ways about it. There's a lot of things that need to be resolved. There's all kinds of hacking going on. It is real deal stuff. Unfortunately, at this level, we have very little to do. For my regular business, we fight this stuff all day long, and it's pervasive. 10,000, 20,000 attempts a day on our servers. So there you go. It's a real deal.
Exactly. So we just ask that you be patient, and we do apologize for it. And I'm sorry. And our content, we're still putting up the same amount of posts, same content that you guys know and love. So when you guys tell me that the site stinks now, it's kind of offensive to me because I'm still busting my butt to do stuff for you. So I do apologize for it. And yeah, hopefully it gets resolved soon. So on that note, we will see everyone hopefully in 2 weeks. We'll see. We're kind of in this, I got to see what's going on with everybody else too. Patrick,
yeah, I can just tell you the 7th may not work for me. I just checked my calendar, but we'll get into that. No, I think in general, everybody needs to chillax a little bit. I'm going to have fun with the video things. People seem to like those. For the Friday fillers, I'll come up with some more topics, some more ideas. They aren't super hard to do, but I will, to the point of the one guy, we'll come up with some different music instead of looping our theme song 75 times or something like that in the long ones. Anyway, yeah, I enjoy it. Still enjoying it. We'll see how it all comes down, and I'm just glad that we know where Joe is. That the Scientologist did not get it. So.
And Safi's somewhere in Canada.
That's right, and somewhere in Canada. That's the best you can always do in Canada.
And yeah, I mean, we're getting into spring and summer. Well, we're in spring, but we're getting into like the months where everybody's going to have a million things going on. So we may get to a point where we go back to doing just one a month, if that's all we can do. So we'll play it by ear, one Addicts Live a month, if that's all we can do. So we'll kind of play it by ear, see where everyone sits with that. But on that note, we will see everyone in a few weeks. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Go outside. It's spring. Go outside. I mean, there's snow on the ground here, but it's still 50 degrees out. So go outside, have some fun, and have fun playing the event. And we will see everyone soon. And Patrick, you have something going up today, this afternoon?
No, I don't. Okay. I had to alter that again, so we'll leave that alone.
All right. So, and again, we'll see everyone in a couple weeks. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Bye, guys.